holistic realms. Journey into the unknown, combining holistic perspectives with the supernatural and delving into the mysteries of life and death experiences with your host, Julia.
Hello everyone, I'm Julia with Beyond the Veil, Exploring Holistic Realms. Thank you everyone for joining in tonight. Today is December 14th, 2023. This is the second episode of Beyond the Veil. I just want to do a shout out to everyone who listened last week for your comments, for your participation, for just taking a moment, not for just me, but taking a moment for yourself, taking that opportunity for you to listen to something that you're afraid to talk about, or you want to know more about, or whatever it is that the reasons why you tune in to this radio station. I also want to do a shout out to Matt and Allison. Once again, thank you to both of you for the sound checks, for helping me on this radio show. I'm just making sure that all my screens are ready. So I'm just kind of hesitating with everything here, just making sure everything's good to go. Okay, beautiful. So shout out to Allison and Matt with Cosmos Astrium Radio. That's what you're listening to me on. So great opportunity here for me once again. For those of you who missed me last week, you can also find me on YouTube. I created a channel for Beyond the Veil. Episodes will be listed either the day after or a day or two after, depending on how busy my life schedule is going. It's under Julia Evans, the Lily Nurse, and there's a few videos there for people to view. I actually forgot that I had that platform, and my daughter had to remind me after I did the zombie walk with a friend of mine back in October. So there's some interesting ones from when I started this journey, when I first brought my book out, The Lily Nurse, Rebooted, Rebirth, and Finding a New Path. And I started with TV interviews, a few little talks to whoever needed to hear. But it was a platform for me originally to get my voice out so I could be heard, because I felt like I wasn't being seen, heard, looked at, all of that stuff that a lot of us are feeling within this world. Okay, with that said, how I'm going to do this show today, I'm just going to do a little intro to what this show is. So for those who are tuning in for the first time, thank you and welcome. And for those who are tuning in again, I thank you as well for the support and supporting yourself in learning different tools and different modalities and learning a whole new world of things that are beyond, which goes to the title, Beyond the Veil, Exploring Holistic Realms. It's a journey into the unknown, combining holistic perspectives with the supernatural and delving into the mysteries of life and death experiences. It captures the essence of a show that explores the boundaries between the seen and unseen, the known and the unknown, offering a holistic approach to understanding the supernatural and mysteries of existence. Now, as I said last week, Matt at his office or at the radio station, he actually got that written for me. And so thank you for that. Those aren't my words, but I like to just kind of play on those words a little bit because that's what the show is about. But I want to kind of dive deep into that supernatural part because a lot of people kind of veer away from that. And I know there was a show right before me. Congratulations to coming back on board with the radio station. I heard that you've been on before, and welcome back. I think it was called The Shadows. And so I kind of listened a little bit in that. But I want to touch on that supernatural component. A lot of people veer away from that word, or a lot of people get frightened of that. But what if we just flip the coin on that, and like, it's natural, and it's that supernova, like that super knowing, that experience that is above our control, or above something that we can and cannot explain. And what is wrong with that? So I just want to add a few things with that supernatural piece. It's natural to look for the meaning of life, to look for things that are unknown, to look for things that aren't seen, to look at or try to understand a world that we think doesn't exist, knowing full well that it does. It's for validation. It's for a world for us to feel comfortable in, a world that we're experiencing. And so tonight, that's what I'm kind of bringing to the table, I'm going to say, to the table of friendship, breaking bread, however you want to call it. Because when my show started last week on December 7th, I didn't really know what was going to come forth with this show. It was just something I wanted to do, creating a platform for people to share their experiences, to learn of different modalities, to breathe in the fact that there is things that we can see and other people can't, things that we might know and other people don't know. And sometimes we're ostracized, or sometimes we're called names, or we're called upon a different platform like this that I'm creating today. I'm going to just kind of bring it back to that supernatural, because when I was trying to prepare for this radio show tonight, everyone always asks me, well, what is the topic going to be, or how are you going to prepare for this? I'm going to be quite honest with you. How I prepare is I take a few deep breaths. I calm my nervous system. I breathe into the reality of whatever energy is out there. Whatever needs to be said will kind of flow through my words, my pauses, and bring forth people who need or want to hear this. I normally have a sip of tea or a drink of water, and I do a technique that the BodyTalk community knows, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about that as well. It's called a cortices technique. Now, for those of you who have never heard of what BodyTalk is, or for those of you who are tapping into this for the first time, and not knowing who I am, so I guess I should briefly talk about that for a second. So my name is Julia Evans. I'm a best-selling author of the book, The Lily Nurse, Rebooted, Rebirth, and Finding a New Path. And it's about my near-death experience through the eyes of a nurse. Now, through that experience, yes, there was turmoils and twists and turns of a life. Not just me starting this life and being birthed here, but it was, it starts off with the loss of my mother. And the whole book kind of veers to that. And it's not like a very sad story about a girl who loses her mother. Wah, wah, wah. No, it's not about that. But it's about how the universe listens, and sometimes we're not listening to the universe. With that said, my first book came out, and in the process of that, as my book came out, I actually stepped away from nursing for a bit. Like I said, it's through the eyes of a nurse. So I was a registered nurse for a very long time. Loved my job. Absolutely love it. I love helping people. I love that caring component, the knowledge behind it. And I thought it was the be all and end all for the longest time. With that said, after my near-death experience, I worked for 6 months as a nurse in the same spot that I actually coded in. And for those who don't have a a medical background. That's a medical emergency. It was a time where I died on the table. While I was at work, there was an incident that happened, and I was not just compressions, but I was bagged, had a very kind of traumatic and awakening experience. But not just being compressions, but I was defibrillated. My heart, I was in pulsus vitac, so my heart was vibrating at such a high frequency that it wouldn't even pick up. Therefore, I guess, however you want to say, the unseen or unknown, the unknown thing that I know in my heart, and I know that's true, is I got to go to somewhere unlike anything I'd ever experienced. And so I got to go to the other side. Now, after working for 6 months after that incident, because I only took a week off work, I had to step away from nursing. And when I stepped away from nursing, good evening. I'm just looking at the comments on Discord on the website. Sorry if I got distracted there. Where was I? So I had to leave nursing, and I wanted to follow what journey had in store, for what the universe had kind of laid out for me, whatever that entailed. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, a higher power, something out there was guiding me to something more, to something to help me either heal from this or to figure out the tools, something. And so, like I talked about last week, I first started with Reiki training. And so that's working on your 7 major chakras, and that aligns on your spine from the top of your head, which is your crown chakra, all the way down to your base chakra, which is at your hip line. And for all those with Western medicine background, that's the hierarchy of Maslow's hierarchy of care, with love and belonging all the way up. So I'm kind of looking at comments here and people are typing. So with that said, I did Reiki training, and then I went into BodyTalk. Now, what BodyTalk is, it's realigning the communication through your cells, or between your cells and systems. And it's not just the systems of your being, like not just your urinary system or your respiratory system, your digestive system, your cerebral spinal system, like all those systems that are with it in your body, but it's the energies attached to that. But it's also the energies outside of you, the other energies that people don't even want to acknowledge from the environment. And it's basically putting you back in the universe and the universe back into you, and allowing your cells to start communicating, to bring you into a harmonious state, to bring you in a place of breath, calmness, and the ability to walk the life you need to walk, breathe the life you need to breathe, and just be. And I mean, that is such a miraculous thing. Now, when I first started BodyTalk, my journey, like I said last week, I was looking for holistic nursing. And it was within the witching hour. And within that witching hour, I had my laptop on my lap. And that witching hour, for those who don't know what that is, that's in between 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning. And that's when your subconscious and your conscious mind can actually talk with each other. We drop all those blocks. We drop all those veils, the ones that we create within our mind, our eyes, our hearing, our sense, and all of our senses. But it's the veils that we create, and we get to see right through them. And we get to tap into things of our subconscious mind or of the other side, and hence why it's called the witching hour. And there's other things regarding the witching hour that we will talk about. And I know I said that last week, but I promise you we will talk about the witching hour. I will advertise that during one of my other shows. And so this fell into my lap. So I was looking for holistic nursing. And so I saw the International BodyTalk Association. So that fell right in my lap. And I thought, what is this wonderful thing? I've had this before. I had it from one of my friends. And at the time, he was just a practitioner here in Regina. And all I knew was I felt incredible after. There was something about, I didn't have joy in my life, and I was able to breathe it back in. I got to activate a memory of something about my mother that made me cry. And I don't cry in front of people, or I used to cry in front of people. And but I just remember that feeling after, that feeling of freedom. Like, it was absolute freedom of how I felt it. And I'm just tapping into my ear here because I can almost like hear that session. And so I had a few sessions with this gentleman. And so that's all I knew about BodyTalk. And I went, when I woke up in the morning, I ended up calling headquarters and asking, like, how is this possibly? I'm used to like a nursing degree, the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and it's 4 years, and journal entries and clinicals and all of this stuff that we need to do, and copious amounts of money. And for those who don't know the word copious, oodles, lots of money, lots of time, lots of patience, lots of tears. And just so everybody knows, the nursing degree is actually in the Guinness Book of Records for the hardest degree to get because of the pressure that's put within that program. Okay, so I'm going to digress there. I'm going to go back to BodyTalk Association. So I phoned headquarters and asked them about what is it? What do I have to do in order to become a certified BodyTalk practitioner? And they told me about the exams and the courses, and I couldn't believe that it didn't take like 6-7 years to do, that I could do it when I had this understanding of what the first day, the understanding of the textbooks, because I had that Western medicine brain. And so I called the instructor. So a shout out to Sherry Gilbert. If you're listening, I know you're doing things tonight and you listen to my show on YouTube. So shout out to you, because without you, I don't know if I would be here today doing even this. And I called Sherry and said, I'm interested in your course. And it was in Saskatoon, which is a 2.5-hour drive from where I'm at right now, just outside of Regina. And there was a snowstorm. And she said, yeah, we have room for you, and come. And I said, I know nothing about this. And, but I'm just very drawn to it. I'm very drawn to the flow of it, the energy. Like I couldn't explain it. And this is one of the unseen things. I couldn't describe what I was feeling, but it was like I was being pushed and pulled, like somebody was taking like my diaphragm or my heart and bringing it in, like drawing me closer and closer, that I had this healing component. And for those who felt that shiver down their legs, this is going to hit home for you. And so I said, okay, if the highway opens up, it's meant to be. But if not, then I can't make it. And the highway opened up for a few hours and I got to Saskatoon. With that said, the ice storm came in even stronger and the highways were closed, so I couldn't even come back home. And the next day I started this course, and Sherry had said to me, I don't have a textbook for you, because obviously I registered the day before. And she said, but you're going to learn this at a totally different level. Because I had to separate the veil between my worlds, that I had to create a block of knowledge in between me and my client, between me and my patient, between me and somebody else. I had to create this like persona, like, I am a nurse, I have this designation, I have this, I am, that's part of the great I am a nurse, I am a mom, I. And it's very kind of, and I'm going to say egotistical, to have that, I'm going to say pushed onto your patients, that I know better because I had the knowledge background. None of us is more or less than anyone else here on this earth, and we can all learn something from each other. It's just about communication. Okay, so with that said, I start this class. I don't have a textbook. I'm used to my nursing background, and Actually, I didn't think I was going to talk about this, but apparently this is where the energy is flowing to this tonight, because I am getting back to the cortices technique. And the reason why I have to say it is because of this. This is part of the unseen, but being drawn to something that is out of our control, but letting go of the reins, that imitation or that fake belief that we are actually in control of what our destiny is, or what we're supposed to experience and what we're supposed to feel. And I said this earlier to one of my clients, it's like you have two chopsticks. All you're doing is making a lot of noise, but you're actually destined to do whatever you're supposed to do. And it's either, are you going to go with the flow, or you're going to try to resist it? And when you resist it, you create more veils, you create more blocks, you create more things, like you're feeling like your head is being bashed against the wall. And that's you that's doing it. Okay. Almost went on a rant there. So I went with the flow of this, and I just allowed the universe, the higher power, something to guide me, something to push me, pull me towards it. And when we started, it was this huge textbook, and we're supposed to learn it in a very short period of time. And my first thought was, oh, jeebers, there's no way I'm going to learn this, every word, in this short amount of time frame, because it's so much. And it was like my mind was delatching from all these beliefs that I had previously. And I was writing notes frantically, right, and trying to take pictures of the slides and how we used to do it in nursing school. And I was told, it's okay if you fall asleep, you bring it in subconsciously. What the heck? There's no way I can do that, because like I'm going to lose my money, like in nursing, if you fell asleep or lose any moment of your class, you fail. And you're looked upon as a failure. Whereas it's a very strong belief that it's just diving so deep into your subconscious. And it's about letting go of very strong beliefs and very harsh realities that you have put forth in your world. Different veils that you have to push through, different blocks. And I keep using the word veil because hence the name of the show. But it's also termed as a block in between you and another person, you and another reality. And so we start this class, and I'm having my morning tea, which reminds me, I do have to have a little bit of tea right now. Spot of tea for all those beautiful people out in Europe. This is for you, darlings. I have to hydrate with my English breakfast here. So I'm having my morning tea, and I get a message that my son got hurt, and he actually fell face first into the ice. And when he fell face first into the ice, he actually cut his bottom lip. His teeth went right through, and he was bleeding profusely. He was bleeding so much, and he was on the way to the hospital. Now I'm stuck almost 3 hours away in an ice storm. There's no way I can get to him. There's no way on God's green earth I can get there in time. And I had already left nursing. I couldn't fix him. I couldn't help him. And this was the biggest thing I ever learned with BodyTalk. This was the moment that I knew my world had changed, because I was tapping into the unseen and what people don't know. And that's the power of when we let go of the knowing and allow the unknown, that anything is possible. That's when the magic happens. That's when the healing happens. That's when the ability to see people as whole individuals, to see people exactly who they are. Because we're all special here on this earth. Every single one of us are here for a reason. We're all intermixed and intertwined in this beautiful existence, even though each and every one of us is like just a little morsel of the whole grand scheme of things. We all have this frequency and this energy to help us through not just our journey, but the journey of somebody else. And so I freaked out, as any mother would do. And I know I can't swear because it's not past 10, but you probably think of the words that I was saying at the time, and they weren't very pleasant. And I started crying. I started crying in front of all these strangers, of all these people that were had already taken the course. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid for like crying and showing my emotions, because I'm a passionate mom, and I'm not there for my baby, and and all these things were going through my mind. And my poor little baby was helpless. He's not a baby. He's almost 19 years old now. But my poor little guy was at home bleeding, and I have the nursing background to help him, and I couldn't help him. I couldn't fix it. And it was something higher than me, the universe, higher power, God, whatever you want to believe, Ganesh, Tom Cruise, whatever you want to call it out there, made me see my life in a different light. And I called the hospital, and I said, my son is coming in and he's bleeding, and I need the best plastic surgeon there. Who's on call? And I got the physician who was on call, or the plastic surgeon. And then they called me back. And every time I think about this, I want to cry. And they said, Julia, we have a 10-man casualty coming in. Like, all hands are on deck here. We're going to have to suture him up. Like, if we don't suture him, like, we can't wait for plastics. We have to do it, because there was all this other stuff happening. And I remember I said, don't F up. That's my baby, and that's his face. That's his lips. That's how he's going to get his voice out to the world. Don't take that from him, just like my voice was taken from me from Western medicine. And I'm going to say that because that was my belief at the time. That's why I stepped away. And I turn around, and I'm standing, basically, I realized I was standing in the circle of these amazing women. And there was 7 of us there. And each woman in this circle took their BodyTalk books from their lap, took their notes, their pens, whatever they had on their lap, and they were in the moment. And they took their books and put it on the ground and looked at me and breathed, and they did this cortices technique. And so what it is, and I'm going to describe it because I am on a radio show, so you can't see what I'm doing, but you start at the occipital part of your head. So for those of you who aren't in the medical field or don't know what I'm talking about, the little bump on the back of your head where your neck and your head link together, and you put your hand there, and it's just going all the way to your frontal lobe, so to your eyebrows, and you're tapping. And it was this interesting tapping thing. I didn't know what the heck they were doing, but I felt the energy, and I felt the room change, and I felt the heat, and I felt like this. It was like I was a beacon of light, and I felt it. I felt like I was standing right beside my son, but instead of holding him and trying to fix the situation, I was allowing myself to let him heal. I wasn't interrupting his story. I wasn't interrupting his path. But it was like these women allowed my brain to calm and my perspective to calm, and allow me to be a beacon of light for whatever he needed, whatever tool he needed. And so when you go through the cortices technique, and I will actually post a cortices technique, it's the John Veltheim cortices technique through BodyTalk, and it is a beautiful technique to help you relax your nervous system, to help you with any exams, and I will explain that during my YouTube video, and I will tape that within the next few days, just so people can actually have a visual so they can do it for themselves. But so as you're tapping your head, getting that left and right brain hemisphere to start and initiate communication of that masculine and feminine energies, bringing it into your heart, storing that information, and bringing it into your intrinsic brain, which is your gut brain, to fully release and let go anything that's residual, anything that needs to pass, not just bowels, but or stool, but it's to release an energy, release those blocks, release, lift those veils of what you can see, look beyond. And as they're doing this, it's a technique called, they were doing fast aid, where they were doing this cortices technique over and over. And I get a phone call, and they the hospital staff couldn't believe that Titus's bleeding stopped. And they sutured up his lip, and I believe it was 8 sutures across the bottom of his lip. And then they were rushing him to the dentist. And when they rushed him to the dentist, they were under the impression that he was going to lose a bunch of teeth because they were wiggling, and they were like, yeah, they're going to fall out. They're probably going to have to be pulled out. And as all of these women were doing this, we couldn't really see the energy that was happening, but we knew it was there. It was that supernatural. It was natural, but it was like supercharged. And that's why I want to bring in that supernatural, because it's so natural to do. And it's just something, it's energy. Energy is all around us. And by the time he got to the dentist, they couldn't believe how he was. His teeth had just kind of went back into place, and he was okay. And I just asked him to be monitored closely by my ex-partner to make sure that he didn't get an infection, because it was a massive wound, and that was my nursing. Like, I don't want him to be hurt anymore. Now, he had come back to me. He came back to me in Saskatoon because my daughter had a hockey tournament. That's beside the point, but that's why they had to come. And so the ice storm had calmed, and they came a few days later. And I had said, make sure you don't go down the water slide, and because you're going to get an infection. Well, watch what you say, because look what I manifested. Because I remember my son walking into the room. Sure enough, he went water sliding, because all he heard in his little mind was water sliding. Just like the universe, or the universal law, what you put out there will come back to you. And it's kind of that weird law of what we put out there will come back to us. It just might not be exactly how we want it. But yeah, so my son got a massive infection and almost went septic. So as I was doing my last day of my course, like I had said to my son, I know how to fix you. Let me do like a session on you, a BodyTalk session. It's magic. Like I don't really understand it, but it's like, it's magic, and I know these techniques, and I can bring in the textbook. And I remember my son grabbing me, and he grabbed my face, and he goes, "Mom, you haven't learned what you need to learn yet. I will wait for you, and you will learn, you're going to learn what you need to learn from this." So by the time I got home, I completely understood what he meant. And what he meant was, I had to let go of changing his story. I had to let go of the fixing component. I had to let go of the knowledge that I'm your mom. I can fix this. No. There's something that was deep rooted that needed to come out. There was a reason why his lip cracked. There was a reason why his voice couldn't come out. There was reasons, and I'm not going to discuss too much, because that is his session. But what I can tell you, and what he allows me to share with other people, was he was my first case study. And I am going to say case study because I was still thinking with that nursing Western brain. And he allowed me to look at it further, to see this unseen thing that I was doing. I wanted people to see it. I wanted to show people the magic of it. And it's not, however, whatever people is thinking about that supernatural, oh, what is Julia talking about? Oh, she's supernatural. Oh, that paranormal. Oh, what is she? Magic. You know what? Everything is connected. It's just labels and these veils and these blocks that we put on so we don't want to see something that we're uncomfortable in. The fact of the matter is, I put both of my brains to this, and that's why I did a case study. I did 2 BodyTalk sessions with my son to help him realign the communication within his cells and systems, to help him get back into the universe, and the universe back into him, finding the root cause, not having an agenda. And what came up was not even related to his lips. It was something really deep that caused him pain inside his heart. And it didn't have heart damage, I'm going to say that, but something emotionally that really hurt his heart had come up, and he couldn't voice his opinion. And the reason why I really went deep into that was these are the unseen things. This is what my practice does. And it's not just my practice, but for all the BodyTalk practitioners who are listening to this, it's a modality that is overseen. It's a modality that it helps us on our path. It just helps us on our journey. This is why I'm bringing this platform together for people to learn different modalities, because what's out there isn't helping us. And I am going to really emphasize that, because I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been on the one side where I thought I could be the healer, the fixer. I've also been on the opposite end of that, the flip of the coin, like I was talking about last week. I've been on both sides, this earth and the other. I've been a patient. I was also a patient that wasn't patient with myself. I didn't learn how to breathe in properly. I didn't know what breath was. I didn't know that we could breathe in an experience to like actually cope through an experience. But there's so much more out there than just being fixed or just being told of what to do. That is what I had to learn. And so I'm going to go back to, because that was kind of a long story. So thank you for everyone who kind of stayed with me on that one. Kind of went on a tangent there. But it was that courtesies technique. It was that fast aid. It was just something so basic of calming your nervous system to take you out of that fear and that fight and flight, please and freeze mode that a lot of us that are in, and allowed me to calm and take a breath and take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because there's so much more. There's so much more than these tiny little things. And I just, I'm going to actually review this video after. But as I'm saying this, for those who are on the radio station and not looking at this, I will be posting this on YouTube. But there's been like these little feathers that have been going through, hence another supernatural thing. These are little things that another world is coming in to show us that we're on the right page. It's just like saying hello, waving your hand. And I'm kind of showing off my Zybrew tattoo here of unconditional love and strength, of all the times that I had to pull myself up and out of certain situations. But that courtesies technique, it allowed me to breathe. And I used myself as a surrogate to allow my son to breathe and the room to breathe. And that's when I was hooked to BodyTalk. That's when I knew that there was something more than just being placed in these metaphorical, stupid boxes of what is your diagnosis? What is your label? That's all you are. We're not our diseases. We're not, these things that people call us, and I'm going to say diseases, like from diabetes. You're not, yes, you might have diabetes. There might be like insulin imbalance for anybody who's listening who has diabetes, or heart conditions, or for me, multiple sclerosis. I am not my disease, but we're put into these boxes within Western medicine, and it's hard to get out. It's like one of those mimes. I'm sure all of you know what I'm talking about, how they're like, oh, I'm stuck in a box. And these are the veils. These are the blocks that we have to like push through, because there's more outside of that. It's not just that. It's not just that is all I am, because there's so much more, because there is so much more for you out there. Hence why I'm bringing forth so many different modalities. And I just really wanted to talk this week about BodyTalk. And then I keep saying this, but I am going to post the courtesies technique on YouTube. For those who are really wanting, because a few people have mentioned, I'm looking at different screens of, they really want to know this courtesies technique. But for right now, because you're not seeing what I'm doing, I'm just going to allow you to take a deep breath in. And I just want you to take all the breath within the room. And I want you to breathe it in. Hold it for a moment. And let your shoulders drop and breathe it out. Another reason why we do this, we're going to do that again. Breathe in and blow out. Because a lot of you can really resonate with what I'm saying about being diagnosed with something, not having the care, and I'm going to say the proper care, because sometimes we're just given a box, we're given a diagnosis, we're given a treatment, something like that, and that's all we're given. We're not giving the coping strategies. And so this platform is to help you on your journey, to help you create healing or tools on your healing journey, because it's your story. It's your journey. It's your human existence. And so I just wanted to bring everybody back in with that breath, because sometimes I can feel like somebody's anxiety, whoever is listening, it might be all, I don't know. But there was a huge anxiety that I was feeling, that like this needed to be seen and done for everyone. And so I'm just going to invite you to take another deep breath in as everybody just calms. Because in our society right now, a lot of us are struggling with financial, with fear, with economy, with Christmas, with gaining loved ones, losing loved ones, learning a whole new life. And this is just a platform for you to feel safe, for you to feel that you have somewhere that you can get support, ask the questions, anything from life. What is it like to live? Do you know how to live? For me, it took me the longest time to not be fearful to live. And I'm going to be honest, there was a lot of times that I really delved into that death component. Not that I wanted to stay dead, although I do talk about that in my book as well. That anger piece, because it's so peaceful, but finding that peace within this reality, because there is so much peace in this reality. Just sometimes we forget how to see it. We forget how to breathe it in, because we have such a rapid fire and high vibration of what's happening within our world right now. And so back to BodyTalk. So after I did those sessions with my son, and I will post pictures of my son so people can see. Now, I don't show his eyes because that's for confidential reasons, for him, for his own privacy. But without any Western medicine, antibiotics or anything, yes, Western medicine needed to be there to suture up his lip, to tie the pieces together while he healed himself. And so there's pictures of him, of the massive wound, and I'm just remembering what it looked like, the infection that was there. And after 2 sessions of his body being able to push that out and to heal from that, so it didn't fester with him anymore. And then just healing that scar that's underneath his lip. I think I probably brought this up because one, I'm missing my son very much right now. He's still here on this earth, but I haven't talked to him for a very long time. And for all of those out there who are missing loved ones, who are far away, who got separated during COVID, who got separated because of arguments, got separated for whatever reason, my heart goes out to you, because I know what that feeling is. So the box that I'm put in right now is a box that I was gifted in 2014, October 2014. And so I had mentioned it earlier, my box of multiple sclerosis, where my body likes to eat away at my communication center, my myelin sheath, so the protective layer of my communication, my nerves. And so, it really gets on my nerves. That was a terrible joke for all you dad joke guys. That was terrible. That was one up there. Anyways, but so my body actually eats away my myelin sheath. So tomorrow, I'm actually getting a medication, hence why I went to Saskatoon, and we talked about that, or I talked about that last weekend, how my engine blew up, and I just learning things are meant for us, and things, they don't happen to us, but they happen for us. And I'm just going to reinstate that again. But when I got the information from my neurologist last week that I have to be on a medication and be placed in this box of multiple sclerosis for many, many moons, and I'm not really happy about that, because to look at me, no one would ever know that I have this debilitating, devastating disease. And tomorrow morning, I'm actually going for an infusion that lasts about 8 hours that eliminates and destroys my memory cells, and not the memory cells of my brain, but the T cells. And so it actually pops them, and it actually destroys my immune system, in hopes to forget how to eat away at my communication center, my protective coating of my nervous system, which is the myelin sheath, which is really significant with kind of what I was talking about. Perhaps I needed to talk about the memory, because as I'm preparing for this radio show tonight, I was trying to make notes, and I actually threw my notes out, not out the window, but I kind of threw them to the side and just went with the flow of this program. And I had a sip of tea and I allowed it to happen. Just like tomorrow, I know that there's reasons why this is presenting to me, and there's still a memory that's attached that I need something else to help me destroy it. And if that means it's a Western medicine thing, then so be it. But I'm also having friends do holistic techniques on me tomorrow via distantly, because no one can be in the clinic with me as I'm having this infusion. So I'm going to be very alone, but yet I have everybody by my side and everybody in my heart, from the people that listen to me, the people who join my program, to the people, my family and my friends that I know are all around me, from the other world, my moms that I have lost, and everybody that I lost. I know they're there with me spiritually, just tapping into that world as well. So as I'm going through this, just after the new moon, just after, so that would have been, what day is it today? The 14th. So on the 12th was the new moon, and the new moon this time was in Scorpion, and there was a Chiron planet that was connected to that. And it's all representing the wounded healer, and how a lot of us believe that we have to live in a life of pain to help other people heal, to help ourselves heal. And so perhaps this is what I'm getting rid of. Why I had to bring up the story of my son, that I had to learn to let go of the things that no longer serve me anymore. The things, letting the flow and the patterns dissolve, disintegrate, and just walking into something new with new insight, that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's the unseen, it's the unknown, and to have anxiety on it of a future that I don't know what the canvas is going to look like. It's blank, and I'm going to leave it blank to allow anything to happen. Anything can happen tomorrow. And so looking at the new moon, and the new moon is about planting the seeds of abundance, which you want to manifest into the new year. And next week for the show, I'm going to be touching on the winter solstice. So Yule, for those of you who know what that is. Winter solstice is when there's a magnetic pull, but it's actually the longest night, shortest day. And so a lot of people, this is the time of year that people get very depressed because people are dealing with them shadow selves. Oh no, not the shadow self, not the darker side. Well, the darker side is actually a very beautiful side of people, and it's something that we don't want to veer away from or be scared or think of, oh, it's paranormal, it's the supernatural, dun dun dun. No, there's a power behind that. And I mentioned that a little bit last week of that Taoism, that yin and yang. And that yin energy is actually dark, and it can be cold, but it's very nurturing and healing. Just like in the new moon, where we're planting the seeds of awareness, just like you're planting your garden in the spring, you plant it. It has to sit in that darkness to figure out how it needs to blossom, how it needs to live its life, how it needs to grow and get a backbone, right? Get that communication, get the voice, get your limbs out, just grow to whatever lengths you need to grow. And so we'll be talking about that. And next weekend, I will be opening up for anybody to call in as well. I was thinking about doing that this week, but for whatever reason, I didn't do it this week. So next week, we'll be doing winter solstice. Talking about not just your shadow self, but when it's the darkest days, that is when you need the most light, and your light will start shining. Hence why there's so many lights around Christmas time, is to remind you to have that mirrored reflection of yourself, that unknowing why things are happening all around you, right? So we're going to tap on that. We're really going to talk about Christmas elements next week, from the traditional Christmas tree and why the Christmas tree was brought into the house, to the star on top, and all the beliefs that are intertwined and mixed together, because believe it or not, they're all intertwined, because it's just an energy and belief of things that we can't see, but what we believe and what holds true to our heart. And so I'm going to close off a little bit early tonight, as the next people are trying to get ready for their show. So there is, and I forgot his name, but there's a nice show after this about something about Bangladesh. I'm sorry, I should know more about this. Join me every week, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Beyond the Veil on Cosmos Ashram Radio. I always film this and then post it on YouTube after. At Julia Evans the Lily Nurse, for those who've missed it, or those who want to hear something again, or whatever you need to do. I would like to thank you all. I feel very honored for everyone who is here with me, who listens, who takes their time to be here with me, to support me. But it's not just about supporting me. You're supporting yourself to learn, help you on your journey of what tools you need along the way. It's about helping you cope through everything in your life. So I'm going to bid you farewell, and remember, there's a world of endless possibilities out there. Everything and anything is possible. Everything happens for a reason. And it's okay to just go with the flow and trust the process. For things happen for us, not to us. And everything is there for us to experience. Nothing is permanent. And sometimes if we just calm, take a deep breath in, and blow it out, and be in the existence of what we need to be in, that's okay. As long as you're not harming anyone, keep doing what you're doing. If you need help, you can always reach out. If anybody has any questions about different modalities that I do, feel free to contact me. My email is thelilynurse@gmail.com, and I will be posting the cortices technique for everyone to view, and I'll do a little bit more explanation on that. Subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, family, whoever you want to share this information with. Join us next week for winter solstice, and I'm opening up the lines for anybody to call in if you have any questions, and we'll just dive a little bit deeper within that. So I bid you farewell, not forever, but just for the time being. So to everyone, I gift you peace, love, and everything in between, because we're all here for a reason. And I am so honored that each and every one of you came here with me to honor yourselves, honor the space, honor your breath. I love you all, and I'm blessed for each and every one of you. For we're all here for a reason, and for being on this earth. Bless you all, and have a good night. Good night, everyone.